your salary, your first priority is trying to replace that. And that can be done in a number of ways. The first priority is trying to replace that so that tomorrow when that job is not there, you're not in that state. You don't find yourself in a position of panic, trying to look for anything and doing all sort of things out of desperation. You are at ease. Now, I believe people should put themselves in a position whereby they work because they want to, not because they have to. And this itself, honestly, it puts you in a more of a better situation in terms of health, marriage, relationship, a number of things. So this is what it is, and this is what I believe. And from my understanding,
if a person doesn't have that why, right? That why they need to stay in, or why they need to learn financial literacy and learn what they should do with capital, learn how to put it into systems. If they don't have that why, they will never do it. This is why, especially, it goes right back to being men or trying to be men. Because many of us, unfortunately, we're just males. We're just males. We're not Rijal, unfortunately, in this day and age. We're striving to be Rijal. Alhamdulillah.
alhamdulillah,
Allah blesses the men from amongst them. The reality is that if you don't have a why, the reason, a strong reason of a why you won't do it, man, you will be complacent and you make all sorts of excuses in your life until you get spanked, you get put on your back, something happens to you, you say, whoa, I should have taken that advice. Something that wakes you up and gives you that why you need to do it, why you need to learn skill, why you need to learn how to save money, to have a pot of cash waiting for opportunities to arrive. So having that why is crucial. Otherwise, that person will remain stagnant and could remain stagnant for the rest of their lives. Working, as you said, because they have to and not because they want to, not because they enjoy doing what they do. In this country, 60, 70 years old, people are still working. You can see somebody 80 years old walking around in the supermarket in America. They have to work.
they have
They
to
take
work.
care of their expenses. It makes me feel bad.
And you know who I feel sorry for the most? Tradesmen. Yeah,
100%.
tradesmen. I'll tell you why. Because if you're a plumber, a truck driver, name it, right? Your job requires you to be there. It's a physical job.
100%.
You need to be there to earn. And if you're not there, you can't earn, right? Now, it's different from someone whose work is more of a brain work, whereby they sit behind a laptop or the computer, where they can work from home. I'll give you a scenario. Say the tradesman, for whatever reason, right, Allah protect them, they become sick tomorrow and they will end up in a wheelchair. And you're a plumber, for example, or truck driver. That's it. You won't be able to go to work again. You can't earn. You can't earn.
You're done.
And
You're done.
if you have not put plans in place, or if you have not replaced that income with your seed income, which is your salary that you've been earning from work before this happening, then yeah, your story is sad.
100%.
On the other hand, someone, let's say, who works from home, their work is more of a brain work. If they end up in a wheelchair, they can still work because they can still sit behind a laptop. The point here is that when we're earning, this is the time to really push ourselves to get ourselves in that situation. When you have good work, your first priority should be trying to replace that income. You put yourself in a situation whereby not only your work is giving you money, but you also have built a second income that is matching that work salary over time. Then from that income, if you're going on holidays or buying cars, congratulations. But onto that, you shouldn't be putting yourself in a situation whereby you're living a different life of the same seed income and you have not replaced it. And then when you find yourself in a situation you get made redundant or whatever reason. Because one thing I always say, it doesn't matter about your work or who you are in a company. You're just an employee. You're just a number. The company is what's important, because when the company start making redundant, it goes from who we need the most, right? The owner is the last person, because worst case scenario, he'll go back to how he started. Maybe just him. So they start getting rid of who we don't need. Then it goes down to who do we need the most? Who can take on 2 or 3 jobs? And if the financial situation of the company gets worse, then it ends up back to the owner. That means you also go. So you're just a number in any company, right? And it's very important. Replacing that income is key. And this is what most people fail to do. You might have a good job. Congratulations, you have a great job. But this is the beginning of the journey for you. It's an opportunity for you to build yourself, build your own path.
It's a huge opportunity that many people miss. They don't realize that seed capital is the greatest opportunity.
Let me tell you something. Especially here in the UK, and I believe the US is the same, right? I see people, they drive cars. You find a person, he earns 30, 40K a year. But yet the car he drives, right, is more than his salary, or half of his salary, or close to what he earns a year. So you're going to pay off this car for 40K, right? And your work is paying you 40K a year. I don't care if it's going to take 6 years to pay off this car. 6 years later, this person will not have 40K in his bank account. That car has devalued, and yet he doesn't have 40K in his bank account. This is a common thing you find a lot of people. They drive cars that they cannot afford to buy twice. If you know your monthly income cannot afford to buy this car, don't buy it. In a sense that when I say your monthly income, you should put yourself in a situation whereby, assuming the car is 10 grand, you're earning 10 grand a month. That if I buy this car today with this money, next month I'm getting that money. Or in the max 2 months, I'm getting that money. And if you can't do that, don't buy it. Cut your coat according to your size. The system what most people live, because it's easy to get finance, car on finance, we get fooled by that. Pay towards a finance car, but we don't want to pay towards saving money. Buy yourself a banger. $1 grand, $2 grand.
In a beast vehicle.
It's not about trying to please people. Buy yourself a banger. And that money that you're supposed to put towards a finance car, save that same money. And you realize that in 5 or 6 years, you have that 40K sitting in your bank account. What can you do with it? When you have 40, 50K in your bank account, you open up a different circle. You get invited to different conversations. Because those 40, 50K conversations, you'll be in there too. But until then, you're not invited because it's no benefit to you. It's not a benefit to you, nor those circle. This is what it is, and this is one of the main problems. Why most men or why most people are broke is because they don't take the action to wanna get out of that situation. They don't make a plan. They don't plan. I'll give an example, Omar. Anybody. You give anybody 100K that's not expecting to receive 100K, they will not know how to spend it. You know what they're going to do? They're going to blow it in no time. If you haven't planned ahead of time how you're going to use this money when you get it, it's going to go in no time. 100K, $1 million. One thing I always say, everybody has an appetite for any amount. You ask somebody that hasn't seen 10K before, that hasn't had 10K in a bank account. If you get 100K now, what would you do? They'll be like, what? 100? That's too much. I don't know how I'm going to spend it. They're going to tell you, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. Give it to them and let it be a reality. That money is going to go in no time, because you know what's going to happen? They're going to say, oh, you know what? That car is 30 grand. I can afford it. Let me buy it. That's 70 grand left. I've always wanted to go to this country with my friends. Book a holiday, 20 grand gone. That's 50 grand left. You forget that you used to spend 2 to 3 grand and you didn't know how you're going to spend 100 grand. Now you have 100 grand. It's different. The mindset change. Your spending appetite changes, and that money goes in no time. On the other hand, give that money to someone that's planned ahead of time. When they get 100K, how they're really going to utilize it to make sure they don't lose that money and make more from that money. They plan ahead of time and they stick to the plan. That person, they make it. So again, until you plan, you're always going to be broke, because the system that's been created is created for you to always be broke. So until you plan and you put that plan to action with dedication, you're always going to be broke. And until you educate yourself financially, you're not going to know how to plan. You're going to save money, 40, 50 grand over time, but you're going to keep that money in your bank account. Another person who is well educated financially, they'll be saving 40, 50 grand, but you know what they're going to be doing? They're not going to keep it in the bank. They're going to put it in other places, whereby as they're saving, that money is also growing.
That's right.
So they're going
to make it grow.
So they're able to get to that target. If they're trying to save 100K, they're able to get there faster than you.
Much faster. There's no comparison. Much faster. If a person is dealing with 50K, and this is the beauty of dealing, this is why, like you said, it's a huge opportunity. To be able to be in a situation where you have a job in the first place, you should see it as some sort of opportunity. And as Ibrahim mentioned, we need to get to a stage where we're focusing on keeping our expenses low so you can have more seed money to plant trees.
That's right.
And the key is that people start eating from the tree, the fruits that grow on that tree. That's the money you're supposed to be eating from. This is where you're supposed to be getting your liabilities, such as your fancy cars, your vacations, new gifts you want to get from your wife, whatever it may be, things that don't have no real value.
That's
things
right.
That don't produce income. Anything that does not produce income, it's a liability.
It's a liability.
Even the house that people are living in. Even the house that people have bought for $100,000, $200,000,
to live in,
$300,000 house, you're living in it. It's not
liability.
creating any income for you. It's a liability.
Yeah.
Because it's taking money from you. So anyone that thinks their house is an asset, they're crazy.
I know.
They're absolutely crazy. Because doing things, thinking that your house, just getting the house, thinking it's going to go up in value or stuff like this, that's not planning. That's gambling. The reality is this. Alhamdulillah, we need to be more conscious of these things we mentioned. I think we have to bring it to a close, inshallah.